All right, welcome back. At least 2 Muslim students say they were turned away from an Oklahoma state lawmaker's office and asked to complete an offensive questionnaire. The survey asked several questions, including this: the Quran, the Sunnah of Muhammad, and Sharia law of all schools says that the husband can beat his wife. Do you beat your wife? Adam Soltani was at the Oklahoma Capitol a day when it happened and posted a video to Facebook.
I just have been informed by some of our community members that Representative John Bennett, who, in my opinion, at this point, doesn't even deserve to be called a representative, is refusing to meet with Muslims unless they answer questions from an Islamophobic hate group called Act for America. Nobody should be vetted with stupid, Islamophobic, hateful, bigoted questions before they can meet with their representative.
CNN's Sarah Ganim just spoke with him, and what more have you learned?
That's right, Fred. These students were in the Oklahoma State Capitol for what's called Muslim Day, an event meant to bring together government officials and the Muslim community to help build better relationships. Well, when these students tried to meet with State Representative John Bennett, his aides gave them a survey that included the question: the Quran, the Sunnah of Muhammad, and Sharia law of all schools says that the husband can beat his wife. Do you beat your wife? Another question they were posed asked this: the Sunnah of Muhammad says that Muslims must be punished for leaving Islam. Do you agree with this? Now, Fred, this survey drew immediate criticism from the Council on American-Islamic Relations, who sponsored the event, the Muslim Day event. Adam Soltani, the member of CAIR, who was there that day, says that the students were shocked by this questionnaire. They never ended up meeting with Bennett. They were turned away. Take a look.
It doesn't surprise me and shock me, but it is very offensive to outright discriminate against Muslims by administering a religious test as a basis for, willing to meet with them.
You heard him say he thought that this amounted to a religious test. Now, Representative Bennett has expressed his anti-Muslim views in the past. The Tulsa World, the local newspaper, is reporting that he called Islam, quote, a cancer on our nation. That's precisely why these students say they wanted to meet with him on Muslim Day to try and speak with him about his views and clear up misconceptions. Now, it's also worth noting that Bennett's Facebook page quotes scripture from the Bible, the same book that also includes passages about, for example, stoning people, quote, until they die. Of course, it's generally accepted, Fred, that some of these religious texts are not to be taken so literally. Soltani says that same benefit should be applied to the Quran. Take a look.
Anyone can cherry pick verses from a holy scripture and claim that, it says one thing or another. But in the case of Representative John Bennett, he has really latched onto Islamophobic rhetoric that takes verses of the Quran or sayings of the Prophet Muhammad out of context, or even sometimes just completely makes them up and uses them to propagate a misunderstanding of the Islamic religious faith.
Now, we haven't been able to reach Representative Bennett for comment, but he did respond to the Tulsa World in response to questions about this incident, saying in part, quote, can't refute facts. Fred?
All right, Sarah Ganim, thanks so much for that report.